We are back. Are we back?
Yes, we are.
We are back, and we are ready for these bells. Mark, we wanted to just zip through with everybody before we open to give people a sense of the, actually, we're going to go now.
Alrighty. I don't have any list. I don't know who these people are. You don't have a list
No,
either.
I do not.
We
I
don't have the
apologize,
list. We
everyone.
apologize. We do not know who is ringing the opening bell.
Welcome back to the Big Long here. As we're looking at futures, we have the Dow right now up 2 basis points, S&P and NASDAQ futures down in the red, Shanghai index and the Europe 600 up, and then crude oil, US 10-year, dollar index, and VIX all up. Now, that's definitely something to keep your eye on as we get into more details, because the Dow and the S&P 500 pushed to new highs after the Senate pretty much passed the infrastructure bill, but it still has to go through the House. So they also have a plan to build out a budget for $3.5 trillion. So let's get into it. Now, the Senate passes the $1 trillion infrastructure plan. Now, what's in it? So what's in the plan is the bill calls for investing of $110 billion for roads and bridges, $66 billion for rail, $55 billion for water and wastewater infrastructure, and $39 billion for public transit, in addition to billions for airports, ports, and the nation's first network of electric vehicle charging stations. So that is big, as well as new federal spending and trying to its ambitious plan to upgrade the U.S., right? The entire infrastructure, the water system, bridges, roads, transit. We're behind when it comes to that, and that's something we really need to focus on. So now, as we think of it, how is this going to happen? What are they going to do? How are they going to pay for this? How can, like, we just keep on printing money, and it's just a never-ending thing, right? I mean, that's soon going to have to stop. But what I want to talk about is how this proposes investing in universal pre-kindergarten, child care programs, extended child tax credits, providing 2 free years of community college, creating paid family and medical leave, expanding Medicare benefits to cover dental, hearing, and vision, lowering benefits, offering green tax incentives such as solar panels and such on your roofs. So this could really get you thinking if we're really going to keep on printing money, and maybe how much money we're willing to print. But I'm kind of for the benefits side, but depending on the whole utilization of the funds, really the devil's in the details, and you gotta get in the nitty gritty. But this still has to get past the House, and I highly doubt it will. Republicans and Democrats are going back and forth at this. So the biggest resolution is to tax the large corporations, the wealthiest Americans, and other revenue sources, like, for instance, Coinbase. They're looking or planning to impose about like a $28 billion tax on those businesses as such. So if that does happen, and that's why Bitcoin and Ethereum today, they went down. If you pay attention to crypto at all, as soon as the bill was passed, both of them shot down. But I haven't looked at them since. So that's just something to keep in mind, is that everything always links to one another. So that is why. And there's 5 infrastructure stocks that you may or may not want to look into. The only reason why is because with this bill getting passed, that's just going to be more work for these plays. So the one I really like, to be honest, is Montrose, and I'll show you the chart in a second. But Their market value is 1.3, and and their gross margin profit, as we get into, their financials are pretty good. Gross margin 22.99%. Current on capital 0.31. Price to sales ratio 2.35. And we can get into some of the more detailed things. When do they release earnings? They should be releasing earnings pretty soon, unless they already did. But this is one of the ones that I'm looking out for, as well as other ones, like, for instance, John Deere, Terex, other ones around the water infrastructure play. That's Hub. We have EV charging, which is Blink, ChargePoint, EVgo. Those are all stocks that you could kind of keep your eyes out on, and there's definitely more out there, but those are just a few that I want to put out there for you all to just look at and make your own financial decision, or just, if you want to just keep up to date with what is happening. And so going into that, tomorrow morning we have inflation data coming out at 8:30, and this is going to be eye-opening, because if we look at the core CPI from a history year-over-year standpoint, you could show more. And let's see, a year ago we were at 1.6%, and now we're at 4.5% in July. So let's see what that number comes out to be tomorrow. They're anticipating 4.3%. So it'll be interesting to see what number comes out. And the core CPI month over month, they're forecasting 0.4, which previously it was 0.9, but last August we were at 0.6. So regardless, that CPI is still creeping up, but I call it the CPI because this is no indicator of how much prices have really gone up. And that's just because year-over-year comparison, you can see the CPI index from year-over-year is up pretty big from there. I have earnings coming out still, and one of the earnings that I would like to make notice of for tomorrow is Wendy's, and a lot of fast food places, for instance, Taco Bell is among the latest companies today, might not be able to complete customers' orders due to ongoing transit and supply chain problems. We've been having supply chain problems for some time now, and shipping containers, they're up an insane amount of percent from, I believe it's 200%. Don't quote me on that. So that just goes to show how much trouble some of these companies are getting into out there. And without being said, let's just kick it over to some stocks. So looking at options, we're gonna go straight to the ETF option plays. So as you see, options for the SPY volume 1.946 mil. For the triple Qs, we have 607,000 options volume for that. And to be honest, this isn't a good sign. This is more bearish, but this is to get into another conversation because a a put could technically be bullish if you're selling it. But like I said, I'll save that for another video to get more in detail with that. So if we kick it over to the chart SPY here, you see SPY hit an all-time high today at 443.44, and NASDAQ came down a little bit and closed at 366.84, and gold futures are down right now, 1728. Now I'm looking for another touch point, because if we break through here, honestly, not too sure yet where we're going. We could fall right back here. We're looking at a pretty big drop, but then again, I don't know. There could still be some support right in here. Yeah, the next one would be that at 1500 market would be that heavy support. So hopefully we don't break through that 1680, 1670 level support there for gold. I'll be keeping an eye on that. The dollar's up. This is another thing I'll keep an eye out, just because that bill being printed, is this going to drive the dollar nuts? Is this going, you gotta pay attention to the 10-year as well, just because are we going to kill our dollar now, or are we going to be able to stabilize it enough to counteract rates and inflation so we don't hit hyperinflation? So that's that for the whole market. And as I want to get into two stocks real quick, just to keep your eye out on them tomorrow. No, that's not it. BTP. Okay, so this one was down today, but you could see this insane amount. Now, if we catch this support tomorrow, you want to see if this stays above this line. If it doesn't, that's a bad sign. Just letting you know, this is not financial advice. This is financial education. Full disclosure, I do have a position in here, so this is why I'm doing this, because I want to be as transparent as I can. And this is another one that I have a position in too. Now these are both correlated to the crypto markets, and this is something that I like to always keep an eye out when stuff in, for instance, the real world and that tax of 28 billion that they were talking about to impose on cryptocurrency companies like Coinbase. That's interesting because this really fell down when that happened. The other one did not. But one more thing is, this is part of the bill, and I'm not gonna BS you. I'll just scroll all the way up real quick so you know. So no one reads this stuff, right? Like, so I'm just gonna go to something that I found that was very interesting. Why? Just because this one, make PP in America. Now, this would be huge, just because this would be a big investment in America. So I just wanted to bring this out because a couple companies that have thrived in it have been MMM, 3M, and also Honeywell. So this infrastructure bill passed, and look, this today it was up about 1.6%. Yeah. And then we look at 3M. I mean, not a crazy move, but definitely a move up higher. They manufacture PPP equipment. both different companies, but in the same industry in that regards. So if this comes back and breaks through this 236.86, I mean, I could see it probably get resistance somewhere above 260-ish area. But then again, I don't know, it could come in the 250s as well. I gotta look more into that because this is on my radar, and so is 3M. And these are just stocks that I'm looking at, and since I'm looking at them, I want to give whoever tunes in the availability to see what I'm looking at. Now, the things that are on my charts, I'm going to start making videos about what those lines and indicators mean, so I don't always have to explain it. And also, if you really want to learn, or maybe you just are unsure and you just want to check for yourself, you'll be able to look at those videos. They won't be long, but that is that for tonight. I want to thank you all, whoever watched, and if you give this a thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. Have a good night. Talk to you in the morning.